Hey, if this isn't your first time listening to this podcast, then you probably picked up on the fact that we talk all about choices here. And, well, if this is your first time listening, then welcome. Nobody ever forgets their first. Today, I am feeling a little meta. Maybe I'm a little too into choice, too in my head about it. I'm thinking about not just what good choices are, but how we clear the path, I guess, to make our choices. For me, comes down to clarity. And I recently had kind of wrestled with clarity in how I make my own professional decisions. I think like we all are looking to find a little bit of clarity sometimes. So maybe you need this reminder too. At least for me, I now know that I make my best choices when I can just for one brief moment, clear everything else from my mind and give myself the time and space to go through my checklist of whichever hurdles I need a decision to clear. For me, it's mostly about my family. Life is too short. It's too short, and my kids are growing up too fast for me to spend a prolonged amount of time away from them, out of the house. Maybe there's a time for that in the future. I doubt it, but it's definitely not now. That is really the emotional part of making a career choice. And then there's the very real logistical part of making a career choice, and that I think is shared by almost everyone. Do you need the money? Does it help provide health insurance? Is it creatively fulfilling? We all need to prioritize these in different ways, and I realize that it is a luxury to even have these decisions to make, which is why I take them very seriously. There's just a couple of more weeks left in 2023, so I'm reflecting a ton on the choices that have brought us to this point this year, and the choices I hope will make 2024 even better. I truly wish personal clarity to everyone listening this holiday season. And I encourage you to make a physical checklist of the things that are important to you, because I have that list and I refer to it constantly. This is Choice Words. I'm Samantha Bee. My guest today is Penn Badgley. Oh, we talked a lot about what it means to say yes to jobs, to change your mind about a job, to give something another chance, what it means to take a job because you need the money, or if it's good for your family. I really enjoyed talking with him, and I hope that you enjoy our conversation. So take a listen and make good choices. Oh, hi.
Samantha, thank you for having me on. It's an honor. I've loved you for a long time.
Well, let me return the compliment to you. I'm literally so excited to talk to you.
Really?
I'm a huge fan.
Oh,
I'm a
wow.
huge fan. Our whole family, and this is so fun. Oh my God! Thank you for saying yes.
Yeah,
What the hell?
this is when having a podcast is fun. Maybe you always have fun with yours, and when we're recording, I have fun with ours. But my
Right.
goodness, a podcast is a lot of work.
It's more work than people think.
Yes, it is.
For certain. And you also become kind of a technological. I couldn't even say the word technological. I fucked up even the word. But you do become very, what's the word I'm looking for? You have an ease with equipment after a while.
Yeah,
and
certain ease. I still think that things happen to me and my computer that happen to no one else, and our engineer has seen it.
Anyway, thank you for doing this. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me begin here. I'm sure that you know that I like to launch into a conversation by talking about choice and the choices that people make.
I'm aware of your premise.
Are you?
It's a very cool
Okay.
premise.
Well, I'm very interested in how people got where they were vis-a-vis the choices that we make, and also with the choices we haven't made, and where we're going and what the implications of that could be. So I'm super curious about what kind of a decision maker are you? Are you decisive? Do you mull? Do you agonize when you make decisions, or are you just like, no, I really know myself, and actually it's effortless?
It really depends. I speak
Okay.
sometimes like I'm very decisive. I know
Oh,
that I think sometimes I can I can appear to be decisive because I guess my voice, maybe my mannerisms.
okay.
At the same time, sometimes I feel like I can't even decide what to say. So there's a lot of stuttering, hemming, and hawing.
Okay.
I, you know, I agreed to be on this show before I knew the premise because I, of course, know
Oh.
you. And then when I found out it's about choices, I'm like, oh, that's a very interesting thing because my relationship to making choices is, I don't know. I think about that. It's really important. It's really, 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 really important because the choices you make are the things that shape your life so much. And I don't think that I certainly wasn't brought up to think about the way I'm going to make choices. I wasn't brought up to like, here's a framework whereby you can
Right.
make choices in a way that is going to be reliable and it's going to like make you happy. You know what I mean? Like I really
Yeah.
feel like I've been making choices just like on the fly on my own for a really long time. I've been professional for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, I have been somewhat famously transparent about two choices I've made, which I initially said no and then yes to, and that's Gossip Girl and then my show You now. You know,
Right.
both I initially said no, and then you know,
Changed your mind. You were
well,
like,
yeah. I mean, well, the first time with Gossip Girl, I didn't even change my mind. It went away. They tried to find the character, and then came back like almost 2 months later. And so then I was given a real opportunity to. I don't know. Are you sure? I mean, I was broke, and it was just like it was kind of
okay.
like, yeah, there. It was. Anyway, the point with those decisions is that they could not have influenced my life more.
Right.
They could not have influenced my life more. I mean, you know,
Right.
that's virtually all I'm known for, as most actors are known for so little of what they've done. And yeah.
Okay. So when you initially said no to Gossip Girl, you're like, this is not for me. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Was it the content of it?
Yeah,
It
it
was
was the
just sort
content.
of,
I mean,
you're just like,
so before that, I had been doing television for 8 years.
yeah.
Professionally, not even this does not include you know, theater and auditioning
Yeah.
in Washington State before I moved to LA. So I was so fed up with television. I felt like I had read every television script. Actually, I had just tested and nearly gotten, but lost the role of I believe his name is Jesse in a Breaking Bad, Aaron Paul's character.
Really?
Yeah, so Aaron and I tested on that role. And when I read that script, I was like, this is the best television pilot I have ever read, will ever read. If I'm not going to get this, I can't do any more television. I've done so many series that got canceled. I've done so many recurring roles and just guest stars, whatever. It was, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was going to try my hand at music and then just get a job as a waiter or whatever. The script for Gossip Girl came along. It did not convince me of any other ideas. I just thought, you know, but look, that's not. It just was what it was. Like
Yeah.
it was exactly what it was, and that was not what I was interested in. That's fine.
Right.
I said as much to the series creators, you know, who asked me would I take a look at it, and I said, and in fact, they prefaced it with, "We think you won't be interested in this."
Oh my God,
We
I
think you
love
won't be
that.
interested in that. We think you won't be interested in this, but we really think you'd be great for it. So just take a look at it. And I was like, you know, thank you so much for thinking of me,
Right.
but respectfully, like I think you're right. I think I'm not interested in this, and that was that. You know, that was that. They couldn't find the person. Came back again like a month and a half or 2 months later, and yeah.
When you turned it down, when you were like, this is not why I'm in this business.
Yeah.
It's just not meeting my needs at this moment. Was there a time in the 2 months after they went away that you were like,
That
I probably should have?
No. Yeah. It's funny. No, not at all.
Oops.
I didn't
Not
even
at
think
all.
about it. I literally did not even think about it.
Okay.
I felt good about the choice.
Right.
I did. And then when it came back, Stephanie Savage, the series co-creator with Josh Schwartz, I had worked with her years prior on something called The Mountain, which had been canceled after its initial like order of 9 or 13, whatever it was, episodes back then.
Right.
And she wrote me, from what I recall, it was a very long and impassioned email just about the quality of the character, how she really thought that I would bring it to life and bring the show to life, whatever that stuff was.
Yeah.
And it was so impassioned, and she was really calling me like, not me, I should say the character, the sort of moral center, the sort of heart of the show.
Yeah.
And then of course my team was like, I mean, the show's probably going to be huge, you know, as much as you can ever measure those things.
Right.
And the idea is that, of course, you do that so then you can, quote unquote, do what you want to do later. And which you can spend your entire life doing. And, so I just thought, okay, I really wanted to live in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what tipped it for me.
I love hearing that. Because there's something, because what I'm hearing is that you are really, truly not defined by your work.
In my life,
performing arts in your life at all.
Right, no, and that's true. That's true. It doesn't mean that then the rest of the world that only knows you through that work defines you that way, which is an interesting thing.
Of course. But you yourself, you're like, I don't really need, like, I need a job.
Yeah. No, and it continues to really be that throughout.
Right. Right.
It's,
and you turned down you at first also? You were like, eh.
I didn't turn it down as strongly. I did say no to my team. And I thought about it for a good, week.
Yeah.
And
you were like, I don't think so. No.
Well, yeah. See, there I was like, okay, this is actually like probably one of the best opportunities that could come to me right now. But this is still not what I want to do, my heart's desire. And I think I can wait it out a bit longer and find something. I thought it was compelling, but I just didn't know that I wanted to play this guy for however long. I mean, look, I think I was 30 when I was making the decision. I'm 37. I just turned 30. So that's, it's like my 30s. Gossip Girl's my 20s. This will be my 30s.
Right.
My manager said, same manager as back in the day with Gossip Girl, who asked me to reconsider. He said, okay, once I presented my reasoning for why I didn't want to do it. And I was trying to be a team player because I knew that I would seem kind of crazy and just, it's like, well, then what are you going to do, bro? What are you going to do?
Why are you in this business?
Yeah, you just want to keep playing music. Where's that going? So I knew that, and I had just gotten married, by the way. Didn't have a source of income, and so my manager said, "All right, look, your reasoning is sound, and if you feel this way, why don't you just have this conversation with Greg Berlanti, who's the series co-creator with Sarah Gamble?" And I thought, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And we were talking about it, and so here's my thing was ultimately moral. And it's hard to, this is the thing, it's like, when you're making a decision about its morality, it's a hard thing to really impress on someone else. You know what I mean? Because I really felt like playing this guy was not, for lack of a better way of putting it, I didn't feel like it was like a sound moral decision, and I won't even get into all the factors of why. It was just like, I don't want to represent this for this long. I don't want to be the single vessel through which this gets expressed. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be expressed. I'm not judging I'm trying not to judge anyone else, at least for it.
Right.
I just don't want to be the person through which it then all goes. And then, you know what I mean? Like, no one else has to be this guy.
Right.
And,
like, you don't want to glorify.
Yeah. And I, of course, know that none of the people involved in making it do either. But there's this inherent glorification of anything you capture on camera. Anything. Like anything.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm trying to say this to Greg. And then so Greg's talking about, he's saying something about like love, true love, a story. I think he referred to it as a love story, and then I think I stopped him, and I was like, so if this is a love story, what is it saying about love? Right. And he took the world's most perfectly dramatic pause, and he said, I don't know, but I think we'll discover that together. You know, and so the spirit of collaboration was there. There was something about that
Yes.
moment that kept me from going to the other side of the fence. I
Right.
took another week.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you ask about how people make choices. So I had become a Baha'i just about 2 years prior to this. It was the first major professional decision I became as a Baha'i. The Baha'i faith is an independent world religion. So part of this experience for me, without going, at least now, into anything about the Baha'i faith, it was, I now had a different framework. Or I now had a framework where I could, so here's what I did. I still wasn't sure. Prayer and meditation had become a pretty significant part of my daily practice or spiritual life, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Faith, as it's defined in a sort of Baha'i terminology, could be called like conscious knowledge in action. And so a huge part about prayer is that it has to be followed by action. Otherwise, there's no way for anything or anyone to express itself. The prayer is lost, you know. So I've been trying to learn how to just pray, meditate, reflect, act. That's the cycle. That's the framework. And so here's what I did. I wasn't sure. I sat on my bed. I said a prayer. Came out of that prayer not with the utmost conviction, but a bubbling feeling of, let's explore this. With the caveat that I could get Wednesday evenings off to continue this sort of mentorship program that I had with middle school age kids in Brooklyn. So I called up my lawyer. I said, if I can get Wednesday nights off, I'll do it. And he was like, I think we can make that happen. And so that's you know, the decision process.
That's very deliberative.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I think historically I can veer towards too deliberative. Now I'm just trying to shorten that time, right? Just like that same stepped process of prayer, meditation, reflection, action. I just try to do that faster and faster, more efficiently, I should say.
Want to listen to the rest of this episode? Head over to your favorite podcast player to hear the entire show. I highly recommend it.